Governor, a report last week noted that Chrysler is about to become the first U.S. automaker to produce a factory-built pickup truck powered mainly by
natural gas.
Natural gas.
Wasn't that wonderful? I saw that. I saw that report.
That?
And did you notice how fast GM was right behind them?
Yep. And it's the Ram 2500 heavy-duty CNG. It'll be sold to commercial customers. But is this the first indication that this huge energy reserve we have is starting to influence the nation's outlook on energy production and use?
Well, I think it is. I can tell you I've had conversations in my office with people who came from the auto industry but were now in the industry that would be putting gas station pumps for natural gas at the regular gas stations, convincing the regular gas stations to take one of their pumps. They need a market. Well, some of that market may be the fleets that the various states have, and they're going around talking to the states, and we're in discussions with them, not any kind of negotiations. And I said, well, I'll consider that, buying from those locations if you give us a discounted price. Mm-hmm. And we can be your loss leader to get Detroit to go from fleet vehicles to automobiles eventually. And I think that's what's coming. This doesn't happen overnight, as you can see. It's going to take a while. There are Governor Kasich in Ohio, myself, and 6 other states have agreed that we are going to try and convert our fleets, light-duty trucks, over to the natural gas to give Detroit some impetus to do this. And then obviously, because of that commitment, I can't say directly that that's what Chrysler looked at, but I think it certainly had an influence. If they know that there are fleets of trucks that would be purchased across the United States, particularly here in the Northeast and Midwest, that would be using natural gas powered trucks, that they build the trucks.
And just for listeners who may be hearing this for the first time, the basic logistics of this is it would have a small 8-gallon gasoline tank.
Right.
It would need gasoline to start the ignition. At that point, it is run by natural gas. And if you run out of natural gas, the gasoline tank could take over full time.
And I think the combined range of the two was about 320 miles.
Mm-hmm. So that's a pretty good deal.
But
now,
you have to have somewhere where these trucks can go fill up.
That's my next question.
If you think about it, we are think about when they built the automobile industry to begin with. They didn't have gasoline stations everywhere that we did. Okay, but that became for somebody who went out, whether it wasn't Exxon then, it was Esso.
That's right.
Standard Oil or Gulf or somebody like that said, hey, gas stations, great idea. This new invention, the car, is going to change everything. Well, the power that we now have through the natural gas is changing everything. So that whole market has to develop. But I think it's going to develop fairly quickly.
And that's my next question. At what point, you're talking about informal talks at this point, right, about the state fleet, but at what point on the timeline would you guesstimate it's time to start building those roadside natural gas pumps? Well,
and go back to what I said, this gentleman came in with this one company. He's the one that's going to build it, he says, because he's going to go into, let's say, a Sheetz or a Wawa or an Exxon or something and say, give me one island, I'll install it. Let me put my natural gas there. You're getting these cars to come in because every gas station now has a mini market or whatever you want to call it. So
yeah.
They're doing that. And I'll get the fleets to start coming here to these stations because you have that. One of the easy things for us to do is do it along the turnpike, because we can certainly have the turnpike talking to the concessionaire that they have along there. You need to start putting these natural gas pumps in.
And almost on cue with this conversation, House Republican Whip Stan Saylor just came out with a plan to help incentivize this kind of infrastructure development with grants from Pennsylvania's Clean Air Fund. That's all very new, so we don't know how much steam that's going to pick up, but this is a conversation that's now spread to the legislature as well.
Isn't it amazing how far we've come in 2 or 3 years?